Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet a true disruptor. He's bringing AI to the oil and gas industry. His incredible story just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, AI is changing every industry imaginable, but look at the oil and gas industry, because oil was discovered in Texas in 1901, and here we are, 125 years later, and largely it's still being done the same way. It's generations of families who are searching and finding oil and drilling the same way. So it's an industry that desperately needs disruption, and that's why I invited my next guest on the show, Todd Garner. He is the CEO and founder of PINN AI. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Okay, I don't want to overgeneralize, but is the oil and gas industry kind of stuck in the 90s? Do they need disruption?
Yes, absolutely. The super majors have their own data science groups, and they're using that to much success. It's why they're winning at the shale game.
Yes.
They squeeze out every penny and every drop of oil they can, and it works. And probably 93% of every oil and gas company in the U.S. does not have access to or use AI. They're doing it all manually.
Wow. And you were telling me before the show there's kind of 3 groups in the oil and gas industry. Can you describe those?
Sure. There's the ones that I mentioned, the ones with the very large budgets, and they don't have to be super majors, but they have teams of technical folks that will look over hundreds, thousands of wells, and some of them are using AI, most are not, but every well has a certain number of data types, and it can take as much as a day to evaluate properly one well.
Wow.
So you've got 200 wells, that's 7 man-months, and it's going to cost about $150,000, regardless of how many people you throw at it.
And tell me how your company works to serve the industry.
What we do is we take their data, and they can supplement it inside the platform.
Sure.
And we clean it, run it through some proprietary algorithms that are machine learning, and we can get the same results that the other folks get in 7 man-months or 7 man-years, depending on the number of wells, the same day.
That's incredible. I can see why you're so successful. We're going to show some video from our library, and as we show this, I want you to talk about what does an ideal client look like for you?
An ideal plan?
An ideal client.
Oh, a client. One with 100 or more wells, 50 or more. Really, we serve the whole market from top to bottom. It just depends. There's the 3 groups are the ones with plenty of money, then the ones with a reasonable amount of money, and what they do sometimes is they'll look at the nearby 10 or 15 wells.
Yes.
And then there's the mom and pop, which is a lot of them.
Sure.
That just go from closology. We did this on the last well.
Right.
Let's do it again on this well. And
that's kind of a guessing game.
Can be a lot of a lot of just guessing. Yes.
Let's talk about the mom and pops for a minute, because I know several small family-owned companies, and they're always raising money to do a new drill. Well, your track record can make or break you. And so
That's right.
they can't have too many misses in a row, can they?
That's right. And seismic made a huge difference in lowering the number of misses, but there's still a lot left that we can do, and we can really get down to almost the molecular level.
Wow.
With machine learning, and show them where the oil is and where they need to drill.
Yes.
And another use case is they typically will drill four wells per section, and this is for horizontal laterals, whether it's conventional or non-conventional. And we can go in and look at that and say, okay, that's a good well, but this one, you're going to drill an $8 million water well.
Wow.
Because of the water saturations. But if you move it over 1,000 feet,
Yes.
you'll be fine. And that's $8 million over how many wells? That adds up very fast.
Well, I remember in the early 2000s, I was invited to a speech, and I think it was like in Cleburne, and the speech was about fracking. And they were introducing this idea to everyone, and they said, this is the future, and fracking will completely change the way, from vertical drilling to horizontal drilling. It's going to change the industry. Do you see AI having that same kind of impact?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm convinced. That's why I dug into it. I thought, I was headlong into a research project while I was going to SMU getting my data science degree. And I thought, why, this makes sense.
Yes.
Because I've got 20 years of experience in oil and gas, running oil and gas companies. And I know that despite their best efforts, the folks that I've worked with just haven't had the right tools.
Yes.
Having the right tools is the answer. I mean, it's like a handyman, why don't you do this yourself? Well, I don't have the tools. That's why you call a handyman. Okay. It's the same thing. It's just a tool for the tech team.
And what's your experience so far when you're talking to these oil and gas companies? Is it a tough sell? Do they get it? Do they know that they need to be in AI?
They get it. They're hearing about AI a lot from a lot of different sources. So it's beyond the curiosity point. It's, tell me what this is really about.
Right.
And then there's the media's put a lot of movies out, the Terminator, Skynet comes alive. And while that's theoretically possible, I doubt it's really going to happen. I mean, what it does is it's just math.
Right.
And one of our taglines is math that drills deeper. It's very complicated math.
Yeah.
But it's just math.
And we've seen this in the medical industry. So you could have the best cardiologist in the world. Her eyes, his eyes, they can't see what AI can see. And AI can light up on a screen, here, look here. So same thing with oil and gas.
Absolutely. I mean, we could look at 100,000 wells and see what's left. If somebody wants to drill next to them, we can tell them, okay, this is where you want to look.
Yes. And I imagine that you're saving them tens of thousands, maybe millions of dollars a year if they're using your AI technology. Not so many man hours, drilling, looking at core samples. Talk more about that.
Imagine if you're the boss of an oil and gas company and you're looking at a property to acquire. You typically look at an engineering report, which is put together by a third-party engineering firm, but it's off of incomplete information. They look at the production and they look at the OPEX records, operations records. We look at an entirely different set of data.
Yes.
And we combine them together. And that's what doesn't happen in the manual methods, is that all of those different data types are compared qualitatively, like putting maps on top of each other. Ours is all quantitatively. So of those 10 or 15 different data types, we just throw them, figuratively speaking, you could just throw them all into one algorithm. It's a little more complex than that. You got to work in stages.
And I think Mark Cuban recently said there's going to be two kinds of people, the people who get AI and the people who are just watching that train leave the station.
I'm scared to death of it.
Yes.
That's what I've found. Oh, I don't like AI, or tell me more. And the tell me mores are happening much more frequently.
Yes.
And they get it.
And you and I met because you did the Jay Young show on our network. We're going to put some video on the screen. Jay Young, a mutual friend, he's been doing a show with us for several years. When you're invited on podcasts, I know you have the heart of a teacher, and I think right now, I guess your challenge is educating a market on why AI is the future.
Partially. I think there are enough folks that are beyond the curiosity level to, okay, maybe we need to do this. They just don't know how.
Yes.
And we alleviate the need to, add a bunch of personnel, add a bunch of hardware, and then, let's dig into AI and how do we do that? Yeah. So ours is a software as a service. We take your data, 100% secure. We never take possession of anyone's data except when it's running through. And we can evaluate and basically give them all the answers that would take them forever, including where to drill.
Wow.
And how to drill it. And what's the frac recipe? And one of the hardest things that I've found is if you have a 200-foot thick reservoir, where do you land the lateral?
Right.
In the middle, the top, bottom, 1/3, 2/3? It makes a big difference.
Well, and you made the point earlier in the show that you could be drilling and hit water instead of oil, which is an expensive mistake.
It's an expensive experiment.
Yeah.
And without definitive knowledge, that's really what it is an experiment.
Give us some numbers. What does it cost just to put that drill down and look for oil? What does that cost on average?
It depends on the depth, and if it's a horizontal well, it could be $8 to $20 million, and even more. I've heard of laterals going 2.5 miles long.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's just getting deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the range.
That's incredible.
4 to 6 is probably a really shallow well, not very long lateral.
Yeah.
But 8 to 20 to 25 million, like in the Haynesville.
Wow.
Up in northeast Texas and northwest Louisiana, you have the very large gas shale that those wells are very expensive, but they pay for themselves very quickly.
That's what I was going to say, is that the ROI in your industry is incredible. All they need to do is bring you in and be right once, and it pays for your services 1,000,000 times over.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's right.
All right, we're almost out of time, so Todd, final thoughts. What would you like to leave people with?
Don't be afraid of AI. It's worth digging into. And personally, when I learned how machine learning worked, it blew my mind, and it still blows my mind. The specificity and all the different types of tools that can be used to get the answers that you want. And these answers seem very obvious to me, but I was in the industry.
Yes.
And
Yes.
We can do it. I know we can do it. We're doing it now.
Outstanding. You've been an amazing guest. We're going to leave with your LinkedIn page, the great Todd Garner. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thanks
bet.
for having me.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.